Hey Liam, quick question. Most learners think they know the word pretty, and honestly, I used to be one of them. But are we totally missing out on its most common real-world use?
Hey, Emma. Absolutely. It's a classic textbook trap that surprises everyone. Most people only learn pretty for looks, but native speakers use it in a completely different way every single day.
Wait, really? Because if you say pretty to me, my brain immediately goes straight to she's wearing a pretty dress or she's a pretty girl.
Exactly. And that's where the trap closes. Learners stop right there at the dictionary definition and never discover how powerful this little word becomes when you're trying to sound natural.
So you're telling me that real people are dropping the word pretty in situations that have absolutely nothing to do with appearance?
All the time. And trust me, once your ears are tuned to it, you will start hearing it everywhere in movies, Netflix shows, podcasts, and casual conversations on the street.
Okay, now you've seriously hooked me. I'm actually a bit shocked because I really thought I had this word completely figured out.
That's the beauty of it, Emma. You might know the textbook translation, but you don't know the hidden strategy behind how native speakers actually use it to communicate.
All right, don't leave me hanging. What exactly are we missing here?
We're missing the fact that pretty can completely change the strength, the tone, and the entire vibe of a sentence.
Wait, how does a simple word do all that?
Because native speakers use pretty as an intensifier. It modifies the adjective that comes right after it, completely flipping the emotion behind what you're saying.
Give me a quick example. Break it down for me.
Perfect. Imagine you walk out of a cinema and tell a friend the movie was good.
Okay, simple enough. Flat information.
Now imagine you say, the movie was pretty good.
Huh. Interesting. It definitely hits different, but I can't quite put my finger on why.
And that is exactly why we need to talk about this. The literal meaning changes just a little bit, but the actual feeling changes significantly. Ready to see how it works?
So, what does pretty good actually mean?
It means better than just good, but said in a relaxed, natural way.
That's funny because a literal translation would never get me there.
Exactly. Learners make the mistake of translating word for word instead of seeing how they work together.
Another case of direct translation causing problems.
Absolutely. Native speakers think in patterns, not individual words. Take the phrase, "I'm pretty tired," for example.
So they aren't beautiful and tired at the same time?
Definitely not.
Then what does it mean?
It means quite or fairly tired. Notice how natural that sounds.
It really does sound like real-life conversation.
Because we use it constantly. You'll hear pretty busy, pretty cold, pretty difficult, or pretty smart.
Wow, I think I've actually heard all of those before.
Most learners have. They just don't fully understand why it's there.
So what exactly is pretty doing in those sentences?
It boosts the intensity of the description without sounding too dramatic.
Interesting. It seems native speakers like to avoid sounding too extreme sometimes.
Very true. That's exactly why pretty is so common. Think about the phrase, "I'm tired."
That's completely neutral.
Now change it to, "I'm very tired."
Definitely sounds stronger.
Right. Now try, "I'm pretty tired."
Oh, that feels different. It's right in the middle.
Exactly. Stronger than tired, but softer than very tired.
Bingo! That's actually incredibly useful.
Native speakers love that middle ground. Most of the time, we don't feel amazing or terrible. We're somewhere right in between.
So true. But Liam, does pretty always mean the exact same thing?
Not quite. Its strength can actually shift depending on the context and how it's said.
Really? How so?
For example, if someone says, "That's pretty amazing," they usually mean they're genuinely impressed.
So, in that case, it actually sounds stronger.
Yes, but be careful. If someone says, "It's pretty okay," it actually sounds weaker.
Wow, so the exact same word can create totally different effects?
That's exactly why English can be tricky.
But also why it's so fascinating. Many learners struggle because they expect every word to have one fixed definition.
Spot on. Understanding the feeling behind a word is just as important as knowing its meaning.
This is a real eye-opener. From now on, when I hear pretty, I won't immediately think about appearance.
Exactly. You have to look at the whole sentence. Next, we're going to see how using pretty can completely change how confident, friendly, and natural you sound.
Really? I'm curious. So we're moving beyond just the meaning and into real-world usage?
Exactly. Imagine someone asks, "How was your weekend?"
Okay,
A learner might say, "It was very good."
that sounds correct to me.
It is correct, but a native speaker would naturally say, "It was pretty good."
Wow, I'm catching on now. Pretty, in this situation, is one of those small words that makes a surprisingly big difference. But are there situations where very and pretty create completely different feelings?
Definitely. Compare "the test was very difficult" with "the test was pretty difficult."
Ah, they're not just sharing information, they're controlling the tone.
That's exactly what's happening.
I never thought about language that way.
Most learners don't at first.
Is managing that tone one of the reasons native speakers sound more confident?
Absolutely, because they naturally choose expressions that perfectly match the situation.
Are there any common mistakes learners make with pretty?
Yes, one of the biggest mistakes is simply not using it enough. Many learners know the word, but they only use it to talk about someone's appearance.
Which means they completely miss out on one of its most useful functions.
Exactly. Instead of always saying "very busy," they could say "pretty busy."
Instead of very cold, they could say pretty cold.
That's right.
And instead of very good, they could say pretty good.
Perfect.
Wow, it feels like such a small change, but it makes a noticeable difference.
Exactly. And those small differences are often what separate natural English from textbook English.
Before we finish, can you give us a few quick examples that our listeners can take away?
Of course. Try these. "I'm pretty tired." "It's pretty cold outside." "She's pretty smart." Or, "The movie was pretty good."
Those are probably phrases I'll start hearing all the time now.
You definitely will.
Looking back at everything we've covered today, what would you say is the biggest takeaway for our learners?
I'd say the biggest lesson is that small words can create huge changes in how natural your English sounds. If you enjoyed this lesson, make sure to leave a comment and tell us which examples surprised you the most.
Yes, and I am definitely going to start listening for pretty in movies, shows, podcasts, and daily conversations, because I'm sure we'll all hear it much more often than we expect.
You definitely will. Once your ears open up to it, you start noticing it everywhere. It's like a hidden layer of English that suddenly gets unlocked.
It really feels that way. And honestly, it makes me realize how much we rely on the same few words over and over again when we are learning. Like before today, my go-to word for making anything stronger was always very, every single time.
And you are definitely not alone in that, Emma. Very is the ultimate safety net for language learners. It's the first intensifier we are taught in school. It's incredibly easy to use, and it works in almost any context. But there's a catch when you rely on it too much.
Let me guess. You end up sounding like a broken record?
Exactly. If everything in your day is very good, very bad, very hot, or very tired, your English starts to sound a bit flat, right? It loses its color. It sounds like you're reading directly out of a standard, rigid textbook, rather than having a dynamic conversation.
That makes total sense. It's grammatically correct, but it lacks personality. It's like cooking a meal and only using salt for seasoning. It gets the job done, but it's not exactly exciting.
That is a perfect analogy. And the truth is, native speakers actually have a whole spice rack of words they use instead of very to make their speech sound way more expressive, varied, and sophisticated.
Oh, now you've piqued my curiosity again. Because if we shouldn't just spam the word very all the time, what should we be doing instead?
Well, that is actually the perfect setup for what we are going to dive into next. We are going to look at a massive game changer for anyone wanting to level up their fluency. How to use very without sounding repetitive.
Oh, I love that topic. I think almost every single English learner faces this exact problem at some point. We want to emphasize something, but our brains just freeze and hand us the word very because it's the easiest option available.
Exactly. It's a habit, and habits can be broken. In our next segment, we're going to look at how you can completely replace very in your daily vocabulary, not by memorizing hundreds of complex words, but by using a few simple, highly effective strategies that native speakers use every single day.
This sounds amazing. So we're going to learn how to add that extra spice to our conversations without overwhelming our brains.
Precisely. We'll explore how shifting away from very can instantly make you sound more precise, more emotionally connected to what you're saying, and ultimately, much more confident.
I can't wait. Let's jump right into it.
Bye.